stop doing this. Look, I know writing is hard. Trust me, I wrote a script once, couldn't do it. But that's because I don't have $6.8 million in the bank. Where the Christ is all that going? Well, it's not going into the character writing, let me tell you. Hi, I'm Beanos, and today I learnt that being nice about this show is tactically disadvantageous. Therefore, I have decided to eat half a stalagmite or stalactite, depending on what gravity it is today, and wage war on the most important ship in Helluva history. No, not that one. Stolas and Blitzy. The dynamic between these two is as follows. Bait the audience again, bait them 5 more times, and lastly, you'll never believe this, victim blame the shit out of a bird. What the hell are you guys doing over there? But what am I talking about, you ask? Clearly not having watched these episodes and noticed they're copy-pasted to shit. Well, it's okay, little aquatic creature, I shall explain what I'm so mad about. A couple of years ago, Mr. Vivzi woke up, got out of bed, and invented an episode in which Stolas and Blitz reveal that they are super in love with each other, except not to each other. I forget what the trope is called or what the cliche actually is, when the two are obviously gonna fall in love, but the show can't quite do that yet because then no one would watch it anymore, right? What? Let's just call it what it is. View farming 101. So, view farming like this is common in media, right? Cliffhangers, etc, etc. However, the general rule is that this practice can be overlooked by the vast majority of people if the view baiting is done either very rarely or often, but all instances are of different conditions, such as different topics, different styles like cliffhangers or common attention cliches, stuff like that. Now, a few of you who've watched the show may already see where I'm going with this. Let's make it simple. This is the amount of episodes where Stolas and Blitz both make it super obvious they like each other, but both either have a stupid fight or a misunderstanding that results in them not getting together. Out of the episodes present, this is how many episodes end in the exact same way, all with a hook, a bait, and a non-conclusion that forces people to watch the next episode hoping for a proper conclusion. This practice is one I don't see many people talking about when it comes to Vivzi. That's mainly because all the other stuff they've done to annoy the audience is way worse, so it makes sense why people wouldn't really have noticed this. But I personally can't get over how lazy and manipulative this writing style is. I personally know a lot of very small YouTubers who take a lot of time and effort into the content they make because they don't have the advantage of being so famous they don't need to care. So when people like Vivziepop go, we need the audience to come back, but we can't trust our characters or our setting or even the decent writing here and there to bring them back. And we certainly can't rely on our decent VAs to help because we fired them. So let's manipulate the fans into coming back for the next episode using bait tactics. Now, I'm not exactly sure if the writers have full jurisdiction over the characters or if Vivziepop themselves do, but I don't feel like real script writers would ever create something like this, at least not without protest. There's definitely a rule somewhere in the Gumby's Guide to Writing Good about not using the same misunderstanding arc 200 times in a row, so they either haven't read it or Vivziepop is chokeholding the writers about who does what, most likely firing the ones who don't agree with their methods. But I'm assuming somebody in the company at some point has to have made Vivziepop aware of how upset the audience is about all this. I've heard about most of it, and I'm not even part of any of the Reddit channels yet, which apparently is where all the rage goes. I should definitely investigate this. However, as I said before, it's most likely anybody who actually brings this up to Vivzi gets the Axe original VA style. And if somehow none of your staff has managed to tell you this yet, let me be the first. You cannot have 6 different episodes end the same goddamn way. I'm sure there are still many in the audience going, but Beanos, it's just a silly free show on the internet. It doesn't matter if they make complete garbage movies, it's not evil. And to that I say, it's evil towards me. I actually got super excited for the stuff Vivzi made back when it wasn't just the same episode in a TF2 spy mask over and over and over and over and over again. And I suppose I'm just disappointed. I was hoping this series would show people what you can do with an indie studio budget, and the power of humble writing teams, artists, and voice actors. However, this was completely shattered when Vivzi said, nah, I like money, and kicked all the humble gamers out, replacing them with famous people whose name they can slap on a box and get people's attention. I know it may sound harsh, but if you take a look at Vivzi's good old business practices the last couple of years, you start to see the makings of a lot of very scummy decisions, sprouting like weeds all over a show that I was once proud to be a fan of. I mean, if we allow this company to succeed like this with no repercussions, How long until shows like The Amazing Digital Circus or Lackadaisy go, well, this was fun lads, off to scam the locals, it worked for them, it might just work for me. Mistreated, this kind of thing spreads like a virus, it's happened before. Take a look at Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, anything that Disney owns really. And unfortunately, I'm starting to see a lot of similarities between the two companies now. Now, I may be a small crab, dear Vivzi, and I may have no real say in what anybody does yet, but if I don't stand up for the small baby channel to try their hardest, their absolute best to make art without selling their damn souls to a higher company, what kind of man can I call myself?
What kind of monster does that make me?
I suppose the whole Blitz and stole as bait scenario is just part of a much larger issue that this company is deciding to employ. And while it sounds small on its own, the sum of its parts indicate a severe downward spiral in all of Vivziepop's current plans. And hell, they won't see this, and if any of their staff manage to, they won't care. They get paid either way. But maybe you will, dear human. Perhaps you're as passionate as I am about this. This couple represented the trust to the audience, ripped away at the last second so that you'll return again and again and again to see a conclusion they won't give you. Because if they give it to you, where's the money in that? It is exactly how all businesses end up working, and I am furious that this little company that we were all so hopeful for has decided to just join the numbers of the scum and villainy as part of this. Is far too dramatic. You get my point. They're just using it for money, which is a shame. I was really hoping they wouldn't do that. Just want like a company to not do that. I don't really have the big brain required to go deeply into all of these practices and exactly why they're so garbage. I'm just a surface level kind of guy. But I can assure you that smarter gamers than me have come to this exact same conclusion. It's where I got the idea from. So if they agree with what I say, that's good enough for me. Even if the entire company, I'm sure, very much disagrees with all of this. So yeah, some food for thought. I'd love to know what you think of the writing in the comments if you feel so inclined. I'll be back next week with a very important follow-up to this video. I need to explain just how much I've come to hate Blitzo as of recent. They're gonna give him a goddamn redemption arc, I know they are, and he doesn't deserve one. What kind of message are you gonna send to the people watching your fucking show, Vivzi? So anyway, hit all the important things so you don't miss that. It's gonna be one hell of a production, and I'll see you all next time. Good night, humans.